our starting midfield berth when we are playing most of the games. So we need to be very careful. I love Jorginho, but I don't know whether I want to extend the deal, even though he had a good game against Man City and against Liverpool. Now, will you play Jorginho against West Ham at the weekend? I don't think so because that game doesn't suit Jorginho. Now, I'm not saying Jorginho cannot still be creative and still be insightful and still give us something we want, but in transition against us, in counter attacks, you do not want to see Jorginho running towards our goal. He's a sorry and a God recite. Jorginho, when the other team transition against us, he does not have the legs. He's all good and dandy when we have the ball and we are controlling games. It's fantastic. But on the flip side, when the other team is transitioning against us, he cannot live up to the pace of the game. He cannot live up to the physicality of the game. It becomes quote unquote liability. So we need to make an informed judgment. You can't make a judgment based on welcome back to Representative. Just joining my or seeing my channel for the first time. Be kind enough to strike that like button. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. I will appreciate that. And do not forget to turn on the notification bell. Very, very important. Now let's discuss Jorginho. Jorginho had a fantastic game against Liverpool in isolation. Very, very smart. He might not have the legs, but the brain was there. For me, he was the best player and deservedly won the Man of the Match award for that match. Now, since then, a lot of people have been raving about Jorginho, even those that didn't actually rate him. All of a sudden, Jorginho is this. And I get it. He had a very, very, very fantastic game. He controlled the game. Even though he didn't need to use his athleticism because there was Declan Rice on the side, but the way he controlled the game, the leadership traits he showed in that game, they're very exemplary, and I love it. But let's not be carried away with one match. Let's not carry away with one match. Now we know this summer we need to replenish the squad. There are chances that Partey, Rennie for sure is leaving. Partey might be leaving based on the injury records, and Jorginho might be leaving, even though we still have the option to extend his deal. There's a clause in Jorginho's contract that we have to take on an option to extend his deal if we want to. Now, I'm asking you guys, should we extend or should we sell Jorginho? Because the fact that he had a solid game against Liverpool, should that actually override the fact that even though he had a good game against Liverpool and you can say against Man City this season, but he's not still a starter. Jorginho is not our starting midfield berth when we are playing most of the games. So we need to be very careful. I love Jorginho, but I don't know whether I want to extend the deal, even though he had a good game against Man City and against Liverpool. Now, will you play Jorginho against West Ham at the weekend? I don't think so because that game doesn't suit Jorginho. Now, I'm not saying Jorginho cannot still be creative and still be insightful and still give us something we want, but in transition against us, in counter attacks, you do not want to see Jorginho running towards our goal. He's a sorry and a God recite. Jorginho, when the other team transition against us, he does not have the legs. He's all good and dandy when we have the ball and we are controlling games. It's fantastic. But on the flip side, when the other team is transitioning against us, he cannot live up to the pace of the game. He cannot live up to the physicality of the game. It becomes quote unquote liability. So we need to make an informed judgment. You can't make a judgment based on, oh, he looked good against Liverpool. Great. He looked good against City. Yes, but the other teams, the other 17 teams, they're going to play. You're not going to play Liverpool and City all the time. There is a reason why Jorginho is not in our starting berth. So let's not conflict that. Doesn't mean he's not quality. He has the brain, but the legs are not there. So I'm asking you guys, let me know in the comment section, will you extend Jorginho's deal or will you sell him and try and bring in a higher quality midfielder with more legs? I'd like to know because I'm confused myself because I've been for, oh, let's get rid of Jorginho. Partey, because of injury record, definitely not in his leaving. But right now, I'm thinking, should we keep him? Because we know we are not flush with cash. Because this coming summer, we need to bring in a striker, maybe a winger, maybe a defender. Those all cost in excess of £200 million. So can we keep Jorginho for one more season? Then the next season, we cannot try and replace him properly. Or should we try and forcefully replace him? And doing that, we might now have to compromise on that part of the pitch. Because if you're going to bring in two quality, top-class midfielders to replace Partey, Jorginho, and Elneny, that will cost a lot of money. If you're going to replace those three players, you need to bring at least two. And those two quality midfielders will cost a lot of money. And we still need to bring in a striker, maybe a winger, and maybe another defender to show up our score. So I would like to know what you guys think, because it's a struggle for me to make a decision. But if you push me and push me and push me, I will take the risk of keeping Jorginho for one more season. It doesn't look. I'm not saying that's the that's the best choice, but I'm looking at the financial part of replacing Partey, Jorginho, and Oneni in one summer. I think that's a huge burden. I think we might not have the budget for that, so I'll keep Jorginho for one more season and push the replacement one more season. That's how I'm looking at it. But some of you might not agree. But let me know in the comment section what's your think. So I'd like to know, should we take up the extension option of Jorginho or not? Let me know in the comment section. Now, I'm not saying Jorginho is not a good midfielder. I'm looking at not just the Man City games or the Liverpool games. I'm looking at across board, because we need quality that can play across board. But Jorginho cannot play all the games. He can't. He doesn't have the physicality and the athleticism needed against the smaller teams in transition. Like the video on your way out. Very, very important. You're free to disagree. Make sure you're respectful and tell me why you're disagreeing with logic and objectivity, not just saying because I'm jealous. I don't want any feminine kind of answer. Let's be respectful. Because it's an echo chamber. You can disagree, but make it logical and make it very sensible. And I appreciate that. Like the video, subscribe yet to subscribe. And lastly, do not forget to turn on your notification bell. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.